I do want to talk about something before we get into other major topics, though, and it is that concept of too many fires. There's too many fires to put out. That's what that means. There's too many fires to put out, so why focus on any one fire? Before I get into anything, though, I do want to go ahead and show fan art real quick, so let's go ahead and put that up here. So thank you very, very much, Sharktastic, for this wonderful fan art of Senator Suris. I like that I've got the trans ribbon there, despite not being trans. Let me just start attaching flags to myself, and the only one that applies is Demi. That's what I'll start doing. As always, thank you very, very much for the fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. Since Forrest Friend says that was quick. Okay, so while I wait for this group to actually get the people together that it needs to function, chilling effect to do, I think that's what I'm supposed to have. I think I've got everything as I'm supposed to have it. Nope, Fingers of Frost. There we go. That's what I needed instead of Enlightenment. That's what I was missing last time. Anyway, I want to talk about this concept that there are too many fires to put out. Now, right now, what that means, more than anything, is that we live in a world... Why does it look like things are already cleared? That's weird. Anyway, right now we live in a world where there is a chance of us going into another major conflict. People have been saying that we are going to be going into World War III, of all things. There's conversations about what's going on in Iran. Trans rights are on the chopping block. We have Democrats who are willing to throw trans people under the bus instead of allowing us to fight for their rights. We have my pizza in the oven. That's another fire to put out. We have, on top of that, we have people not being able to afford food. We have increasing levels of civil unrest. We have police brutality going on the rise because we are seeing them have more violent responses to protesters. We are seeing the National Guard being sent out. We have been seeing budget cuts in the government. We are seeing all kinds of shit, and all this is happening so goddamn fast. On the one hand, this is the strategy that Steve Bannon wanted. Attack from so many sides, such that your opponents cannot focus on any one thing. But the reason that the strategy works so well with Steve Bannon, it was to make sure that the left and the media in general could not focus on any one aspect of what the Trump administration was focusing on, because the Trump administration, in truth, was not focusing on anything. They were hitting every single cylinder they possibly could and making as many people, well, deal with their bullshit as possible. Now, the end result of that is more people suffering, more people being unable to focus, but it means that the media cannot pin down one specific thing that Trump is doing. There are too many fires to put out. But this also ends up working against us in the activist spaces as well, because if you're busy going to the No Kings protest, it's less likely that you're going to have the energy to also go to a trans rights protest. If you are busy going to a trans rights protest, then it's more likely that you won't have the energy to go to a No Kings protest. If you are doing a protest against Elon, you might not have the energy to protest something that your local senator or congressman or congresswoman is doing. You might not have that energy to split around because there are too many fires to put out. Yes, Sarah Chikorita, it is effectively doing a DDoS attack on our mental capacity. Our ability to function as people gets exhausted. And we can see this not just in the political sphere, but in general. Facebook is meant to exhaust you. Twitter is meant to exhaust you. If you're constantly angry at things you're seeing online, you won't have any anger left over for the shit that honestly needs your anger and your motivation right now. You end up being focused on some random internet beef and some random drama instead of what's happening in your own backyard and the people that are real and actually affected. You end up focusing more on the plight of fictional characters than you do on the real suffering of your brothers and sisters in your own nation. This strategy is effective. It exhausts you. And then, the best part about a strategy like this, the reason that it's so effective, is at the end of the day, who can you blame? You only get the chance to blame yourself. Well, I couldn't participate in more direct action because I was busy or I was exhausted. The system's meant to exhaust you. It is. The reason that it seems like there are too many fires to put out is because that is by design. A system that creates too many fires to be put out is a system that has so much going on in its media landscape, you can't keep track of any of it anymore. And if you can't keep track of it, then who can blame you for choosing not to keep track of it? Who can blame you for simply doing your best? You are meant to be exhausted. You are meant to be dealing with a 40-hour work week at one job, a 20-hour work week from another job, or more likely, 2 33-hour work weeks with no benefits from both jobs, and then a side hustle of doing Uber or some shit on the side. But the infuriating thing about this, honestly, more than anything, isn't just how effective it is. It's how it ends up pitting us against each other. This is the real, I don't know if this is the genius of it or an unintended effect, but either way, it's not good. But I'm sure you've seen this before, where one person is focused on one issue that they find very important, and then another person says, oh, well, there's this other equally valid issue in my eyes that I'm focusing on. And then these two people end up in a fight. Person with issue A ends up angry at person with issue B as their primary focus because they're not focusing on the same job. And they can't get anything together or operating or organized if they are not focused on the same task. You start hearing things about we need to all be on the same page in regards to whether it be trans rights, foreign affairs, the war in Iran, the war on Gaza, the war in Ukraine, the housing crisis going on right now, the elimination of the middle class, the actual genocides happening in the United States against homeless people, against disabled people, against trans people. And I've seen this shit happen in my audience, where I'll talk about the trans genocide, the mechanics involved in that, and then someone will go, Suris forgets that there's been a genocide against disabled people this whole time, and I think it's very telling that he didn't mention that. Bitch, there's too many fucking fires! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! The reason that you even think that us being against each other despite agreeing on 95% of the issues is a feature of fascism, not a goddamn bug. The entire point is to exhaust us and pit us against each other and make us angry at each other and make us hate each other and make us fight amongst each other and use up our energy. Because there's too many fires to put out and we get angry because not all of us are focused on the same fucking fire. And do you know how frustrating that is? Do you know how agitating that is? On my own plate, I am juggling helping out with a political campaign, the foundation of my house separating from the bottom, or from the wall, from water damage. I am dealing with increased electrical costs that I can barely shoulder. I am dealing with car repairs, which thankfully chat has been helping out with. I am dealing with traveling to multiple protests, some of which have not garnered the people that I think should have been there in the first place, and dealing with the emotional backlash from that. I am dealing with trying to educate myself on everything I can in regards to the potential war we are joining with Iran, and whatever political issue is happening of the day that I'm trying to cover for my channel. There is so much fucking shit to cover. There is too much, and it is exhausting. But this is not me getting upset at my audience for their response to what I've chosen to cover, how I've chosen to cover it. This is, in general, me noticing a pattern. A pattern of leftists eating each other because we are not all focused on the same issue. You get some people saying we can focus on all of them all at the same time. No, the fuck we can't. We don't have that kind of energy. We don't have that kind of attention span. And in a world where we had infinite time in the day, I would agree with you, but we don't. So to those of you who choose the housing crisis and the increasing of rent to be your primary goal that you are fighting against, you know what? Good on you. To those of you who spend your time trying to fight to get our abortion rights back in the United States, good on you. To those of you who are spending your time fighting tooth and nail for trans rights in the United States, good on you. For those of you who are fighting for the rights of citizens in Gaza to not be annihilated by a genocidal maniac, good on you. And to those of you who have dealt with any amount of backlash for your chosen area of expertise and focus, for not, quote, looking at the bigger picture, or for not fighting on all of the fronts that you need to be fighting on to be a good leftist or a good liberal, you know what? Good on you. Good on you. Every single one of you that recognized that despite the fact that there are too many fires to put out, that mere idea does not in and of itself eliminate the need to try to put out those fires, good on you. It is hard work, it is exhausting work, but it is work that needs to be done. And I am proud of every single one of you who have managed to maintain a level head on your shoulders while dealing with all of this shit, because there is too much of it to deal with. And yet, there are those of you who still show up to protests every time you get a chance. There are those of you who still show up to your local DSA meetings when you get the chance. There are still those of you who make it a point, whenever you can, to lift up the lives of those around you, even when it seems like the world is on fire. And to each and every one of you, all of you who are doing that, despite the fact that there are too many fires to count, you still decided that in the face of literal certain defeat, you would still rather do your best than do nothing. Honestly, you should be proud of yourselves. You should be proud of the work that you have done, even if the work itself is never done. Mark says, I think I'd rather be dealing with Evangelion angels. Totally not because of Ramiel-chan. Look. There is so much left to do. And there will continue to be so much left to do the longer things go on. And that's fine. Yeah, there are too many fires. There's too much shit to put out right now. But it doesn't mean that we will not be doing our best, irrespective of that fact. And now I'm dead again. Midnight Rider says, who shouldn't be proud? Every single one of you that tried to be angry at other people for not caring about your own particular pet issue. It's easier to be angry at your own people for not caring about your pet issue than to be a good advocate for that issue yourself. Jepity says the long death thing, long defeat. Anyone who fell for the graft? I don't know what the graft is, but that's my take. Now let's go watch a terribly annoying video. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full-time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press, though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.